your reality is a feedback. One of my most famous quotes was I say, how you feel is correct every single time, because it's communication from you to you about you. That is part of the feedback from reality as well. So if I am in a situation where I am triggered, then that is a trigger within myself. That's a communication from me to me about me. So if I text my partner reads it and doesn't reply, and I see the 2 blue ticks, I will then be triggered to feel anger, fear, the sensation of anxiety, and under that there is anger or fear. I'll be triggered to feel something. Now in that moment I can be like, okay, what is that? So then I explore it. I will sit with the emotion to feel it. I'll do the opposite of what I've been doing. Maybe in the past what I do is I message someone else to complain about my partner, or I go get something to eat, or I binge watch something, or I doom scroll on social media. I do something to distract myself from the undesirable feelings that are coming up in that moment. But this time I'm going to sit with it and I'm going to try and understand it. And through sitting with it, I get to these parts of myself that come to my awareness, which is the part of myself that I'm feeling. Now, I want to take it a step further. Your reality is projecting out of you. So the mind is creating the reality. It's coming out of you. So everything in reality is a mirror. There's the level of communication from me to me about me. But then there's a question of, well, why is that in my reality? Why is this scenario manifesting in my reality? Well, it's manifesting in your reality to bring you to these parts of yourself. Okay, well, I want to change my reality. I want to change this reality that I'm experiencing. How does that look? It's through using that feedback. By my reality manifesting in a specific way, it will bring a part of myself to my awareness in order for me to do what I need to do, which will then change my reality. And I always use the example of going to court. Going to court is a manifestation. Not everyone goes to court. People do go to court. So it is a manifestation. Let's say someone takes you to court. Let's say you've split up with someone, but you have a child with them and you go to court for whatever reason. There's an element of powerlessness in that because you share custody. I'm not in full control of what happens in my family with my child or anything. So there's an element of powerlessness. That element of powerlessness and how you behave in terms of how it makes you feel, which then leads you on to the beliefs that you adopt about yourself, the beliefs that you are in it for yourself. So reality will manifest a scenario where you go to court, going a few days before the court, you will start feeling the sensations. You might start feeling anxiety. You might start feeling fear, anger, all leading up to the moment you're in court. And being in court, that's the manifested reality that I am in. Okay, so this is showing me part of myself. It's showing me and taking me to the parts of myself that feel extremely powerless, which is how my reality is manifested in order for me to feel that. Because you know, there are a lot of people that go to court that are just not bothered by it. They're excited about it. There are people that I've spoken to that have literally said to me, oh, I love going to court. I'm like, what? You love going to court? That's crazy. But it's not. They feel confident that it's all about your feeling, how you feel about it. So in that same scenario, it's like, how is this scenario making me feel? Okay, it's making me feel like this, and I'm going to do the exploration. And eventually I'm going to get down to a place where I realize that it's making me feel powerless. Now, that's through the self-awareness of understanding that that's where my reality has taken me to. Then I can start making decisions in that moment. And it doesn't mean the outcome has to turn out in a way that I win custody or I win the court case or anything. It's all about how I'm going to react in that moment. And I don't mean suppression. I mean the outcome of it, how I'm going to behave. So through the courts, I could be talking to myself and be saying like, it's okay. I'm here with you. Doesn't matter what happens. We'll get through this. And that's very different than, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Oh, everything's going to leave and I don't have control. Like I won't be able to do this. And now I can't do this. And now I've got to hide this and that. That's when I'm living in the belief of this part of myself that is completely and utterly powerless. So it's about that recognition, that awareness, to become aware. And this is why I teach what I teach. My goal is to teach you how you work. When you understand how you work, in the moments that your reality will have manifested, that something happens, a scenario is manifested in your reality, even in those moments, you can still become aware and kind of question What's going on? What am I feeling right now? What's happening? And then from there, it might be, all right, well, it's turned out bad for me. I lost the court case. How am I going to respond to that? How am I going to move forward from this moment? Am I going to go home and just live in despair? I can validate the parts of myself that are in despair. I can bring them on. I can feel the powerlessness. Use that as the communication to however many times I need to integrate these parts of myself. But then I'm also together at the same time. What do I need to do? What do I need to do? I need to, all right, maybe I realize that, okay, I need to create something in my business, in my work. I want to expand in some way. This is taking me to the point where enough's enough. I hate being so powerless. I don't want to be powerless anymore. So I'm actively making that decision to expand and go in a different path than just being in that belief that I am powerless. The more you do that, then reality will start shifting. Well, I mean, essentially you're going into different realities, and then the scenes that are manifesting in your reality won't necessarily be ones that make you feel as powerless, because at that point you're like, okay, well, I'm making steps forward. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Now, I don't just know it here. I know it here, that I'm not as powerless because I'm able to do more. I'm able to be there for myself. I was there for myself in those moments. I integrated these parts of myself. That's self-love. I accepted me, even though maybe everyone else didn't. Maybe every single person in my life didn't, but I did. And the more I do that, the more I'm there for myself, the more I'm kind of going, wow, I can go through really hard times and I can come out the other side not as beat up. That whole experience and the way that I am behaving is bringing me into another reality where I don't feel as powerless. So then my reality won't need to reflect the same level of powerlessness that I felt when I went to court. And this is growth. Everyone believes that, okay, I need to get from the start to the finish line instantly. And this is why we beat ourselves up and think that we can't do it. I've done it. I've done it many times. I have lived in despair. I've questioned, like, do I actually think I'm good enough? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I feel like I do here and here. I've done it so many times. But there was a point where I learned, like, oh no, this is just part of the journey. I need to grow. And this is what growth is. Growth isn't A to Z. Growth is A, B, C, D, E. And then the next time my reality will reflect to me not being as powerless. And then I'll do the same thing again. I won't abandon myself. I'll still be there for myself. I'll try and figure something out, as well as being there for the parts of me that are being triggered as well. And I'm going to keep moving forward. And the times where I need to just cry, I'm going to cry. The times where I am authentically sad, where I'm angry, I'll go punch the bed without judging my anger. I'll do all of these things. I will allow myself to feel however I do on my journey of growing. And then after a while, reality shifts more and more and more and more. And then eventually you will get to a place where you do not feel powerless. It's not like I understand that I feel powerless. I want to not feel powerless. Why aren't I there yet? I should be there. Because I'm not there, then that means I'm not doing it right. I'm not good enough. I'm not good at doing this. I can't do this. It's not it. It's a journey. And that journey will take time, and it takes a different amount of time to one person, to another person, to another person, another person. This is why you always hear we're not in competition with anyone else other than ourselves, because it's all about your internal world, and no one can know another person's internal world. You just can't. So you cannot compare it.